What's up? What's up, Texas Heat? Man, I hope y'all are having a good Tuesday. Hope y'all were real well rested and having a decent morning. Going to break down this last week of Madden as well as give you a breakdown for week 3 as well. It's definitely been some good football up to this point. Definitely been some I would say some pretty good activity, some high scoring games. It's funny what happens when you go from comp to sim and then have the momentum piece kind of taken away. The amount of high scoring games that have happened up to this point has been quite interesting, I must say. But definitely good football, definitely good enough, I think, for the league, for us all to enjoy. But I'm going to go ahead and do just a quick breakdown of what we've seen in this last week. And I'm also going to, as this week gets ready to end, and then we're also going to give a breakdown for these, the week 3 games. This Madden has definitely been challenging in ways. It's definitely brought some, I think some challenges for the passing game, but it's funny because I feel like the records are about to be broken the way the passing is going up to this point. So I'm just going to go down, just again, going kind of week to week, or not really week to week, I meant game to game. The first game that we are going to look at is the one between the Panthers and Giants. We did see a good game between Brad and Fuzz. I kind of expected this game to be a good game between both users. I don't remember who I picked. I should have wrote all this down, so I am sorry. I do not remember who I chose in this game. Definitely a good game between both users. Brad threw a couple picks in this game, but he still only lost by a touchdown. So, basically the story is, if he cleans up those picks, he probably gets Fuzz in this game, but ultimately Fuzz does pull it out 34 to 24. 31-24. The next game on the list, we had the Black Knights and the Steelers. Obviously, Legend is trying to get on a roll, on a new track with this Black Knights team. He stayed with Richardson, which, I was kind of curious if he was going to stay with Richardson or if maybe he would go a different route. He's 0-2. Josh, 2-0 to start the season, gets a win over Legend. The story's going to be for me really simple: is what does Legend do going forward? Does he stay with Anthony Richardson at quarterback? I'm not even sure if he drafted a quarterback in the offseason, but an 0-2 start. Obviously, Levi Nance had a pretty good day for Josh, 14 of 20, so definitely a good passer rating in that game to get the score and the win, 24 to 21, in the result of that one. The next one is me and Top, and man, let me tell you, this shit felt like a bloodbath. I wasn't really sure who was going to pull the game out. 4 interceptions for Herbert, 1 pick for Baker Mayfield. Neither one of us really had a great game throwing the ball. He had a better running game with Adrian Peterson, 15 carries, 99 yards. But of course, that one touchdown for me in that game that was a difference was going to Thornton. Thornton got a big pass for me in that game. It was a 3rd and long, definitely needed, but ultimately pulled this one out to remain undefeated up to this point. 2-0, and Top Falls 1-1, 20-24 in that one. Next game on the list, we have the Houston Oilers. Knight didn't have a very good game week 1. He just came out a little flat, and he got down just far enough in that game that, I could understand why he just basically kind of just said, hey, let's just mail it in, get to the next one. Comes out and gets a good win, an efficient game for himself against DTZ, 31-14. He doesn't throw over 200 yards, but he was consistent in this game. 31 carries for Derrick Henry, 145 yards, 3 touchdowns. He does hit that rookie Matthew Keaton in this game, so getting him active. But he does pull this one out over DTZ, 31-14. Definitely a solid win for Nike to get into that 1-1 position starting this season. Our next game is going to be the Jags and the Condors, and Ivan is not off to the start that he would prefer, I can tell you that. You know, I think he's got the pieces over there in Mexico City. Brock Purdy, he didn't have a bad game with Brock. He just had a pick in this game. The opposite side is Trevor Lawrence just balled the fuck out for Lolo. I'm not even used to Lolo throwing the ball the way he did in this game. 383 yards, 4 touchdowns in this one, with also 159 of those yards going to Calvin Ridley. Definitely a player that I think people want to pay attention to when you start playing Lolo. He's starting to figure out a balance in his scheme. But definitely, again, big win, 42-25 to get to that 1-1 position, and definitely a tough spot for Ivan starting 0-2. The next one, Nick, do not disrespect his name, Adams. The only user that I've come across that is simply okay playing with Kyler Murray. I do not understand the issue with people not wanting to play with Kyler Murray. I know a lot of people that want. It seems like every league I'm in, Kyler Murray is on the block. I don't get it. I can play with Buddy. I really do not understand the issue with playing with Kyler Murray on the game. But you do have Kyler on the game. You do have Kyler on this team, and he's playing well. He's got a 2-0 start. Played against Bloodshed. The game was kind of close for a little bit. Blood threw a bunch of picks, obviously, with Stetson Bennett. And ultimately, I think that was the difference in this game, 31-19, with Nick Adams taking the dub. The next game that we have on the list, it was a 44-22 game right here. A 6-touchdown, 476-yard game for Billy the Gun Van Gough. Man, that's just a fucking name to put on a player. 476 yards, 6 touchdowns, and 2 picks. That's a hell of a day. What makes it even more of a hell of a day is that 184 yards went to a tight end and Brevin Jordan. Great game right there, obviously, for Gideon. He's kind of getting the offense that I think he had last season, just maybe not all of the pieces that flowed together just to play confident throughout an entire season, mainly on the defensive side. He got 3 picks out of this game against Olympic, so definitely a big win for him. 44-22 over Olympic, solid win to start off the season, to at least get in that 1-1 position. You know, the thing about Olympic, the one thing about this game, but the first thing I thought when I looked at it was, here he goes, starting the season being 0-2. I thought last year was the year that he really needed to press when it came to that Jets team, now the Brooklyn Lumberjacks, to try to get some wins. I thought the fall off from Aaron Rodgers, that adjustment alone was just going to be a lot in my mind for him to tackle. But ultimately, Gideon gets the game. J Stack is quietly having a great start to the season, and nobody's really talking about it, which is good. Sometimes you want to be under the radar. 58-31 over Jacob. Obviously, we know that when you play Jacob, there's going to be either a lot of points on the board or there's going to be stats everywhere. It's always one of the two. Either going to be a lot of points or there's going to be a hell of a lot of stats. Something happens in the game. 58-37, J-Stack gets this one, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, and I cannot believe he even considered trading Jordan Love. He's a great quarterback to start on this game. Christian Watson, 7 receptions, 135 yards. I mean, just a great game for him all around, and he's gotten a 2-0 start. I'm not sure when the last time J-Stack even started a season 2-0 in Texas Heat. I mean, I'm not even sure the last time he started a season with 2 or 3 wins in Texas Heat. So definitely a big, much improvement, hell of a start for him to get up to just to a 2-0 position. Obviously, it's extremely early, but you got to give credit where credit is due. Big win for him in that one. The next game, and boy, oh boy, I did not expect this start from Ben. 42-14, he gets beat by the San Diego Shamrocks, and I be damned, here comes Hendricks. Here comes Hendricks. This is what I thought Hendricks would do with this team last season. You know, and I don't really understand the difference between comp and sim that's really impacting people's games so much right now. Like that's actually kind of crazy to me that comp and sim is really impacting the results in this game. I mean, if you just look on the screen in the league, the amount of 40-point, 30-point games that we've had in the first 2 weeks is crazy. We have more passing yards to start this season in the first 2 weeks. Same thing with rushing. Same thing with, I mean, like every number has went up except really defense when it's come to league play. Joe Burrow had 430 yards but 7 picks. I think this move over the weekend has impacted Ben. Maybe where that TV is setting is impacting Ben. Instead of having it 4 feet in front of him, he's kind of transitioned, got it looking all pretty now in his new play. Shout out to him. But he did not play well. Yer Hendricks. I wonder if he put that name in the new, as far as an adjustment that he made on, I'm assuming on this rookie. 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Booby Miles, 19 carries, 89 yards. He just had a productive day. He made Ben throw the ball everywhere and throw a bunch of picks. Ultimately, he pulled this one out, got himself a big win. So definitely got to give credit to Hendricks for pulling this one out 42-14. The 49ers, it's funny because I expect Justin James to do this every single season. Literally, every single season, I do not expect anything different from Justin James. He won this game 59-17, playing the Huskies, which I believe that is Kevin Freeman, a guy who does like to pass, a guy who does like to go deep, a guy that absolutely wants to score if he can. But it doesn't look like he ran the ball at all against Justin James. It doesn't even look like he attempted to run the ball against Justin James. But Dak Prescott has a hell of a game, the same with Christian McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. 399 yards passing, 6 touchdowns. Yeah, I don't know if it is comp to sim or if it is because we went from a 6-minute quarter to a 7-minute quarter. That may be the difference, is that we went back a minute or added a minute to each quarter. But Justin James, hell of a game for Justin James. Justin James is going to be like this all season. I've said it. Ivan said it before. Justin James is just a regular season dude. He's just a regular season dude. It's funny because we've talked about doing a possible top 32, and the crazy thing is it's hard to put Justin James in the top 10 or even top 15 because he doesn't pull out in the playoffs. He doesn't do anything in the playoffs. But damn it, regular season, he may just well be top 5. He may absolutely be top 5. But big win for him in that one. We'll see how Kevin Freeman responds in this next coming week. Probably the biggest blowout to start the season that we've seen. Probably there were some games in week 1, so I guess I should be a little careful with that. But probably one of the biggest blowouts we've seen to start the season. And, the guy just won a Super Bowl, and then he walked into this game and the last game and said, hey, I'm going to do my best to continue on that path. A 45-7 routing. He shut Jeremy out of this game. Now, Jeremy had a hell of a season last season. We give credit where credit is due. He's 1-1 right now. Hyundai gets if you didn't see the game, you don't really know what happened. He was balling against Buddy. And it's not like Jeremy just had a whole bunch of turnovers. He just couldn't convert in this game when he needed to. And that just cost him over and over and over and over again. And all Hyundai did was just continue to be consistent on offense and just keep pressing from there. So definitely a big game for Hyundai in this one, 45-7. He's 2-0 to start. He's playing like a guy that's going to continue to really attempt to get him another Super Bowl in league play. Let's see what the NFC has to say about that. Hopefully this is something that, hey, that's on the NFC. Here's the thing. I don't really care if anybody goes undefeated or not because ultimately there are 31 other motherfuckers in the league. There are 31. We can't just lean on certain guys to get dubs. Period. Period. We need everybody to contribute. And then the last game that has been played up to this point, they played yesterday, and I be damned. I be damned. What the hell has Smitty figured out with Young? First of all, the score is crazy. The crazy thing is, outside of one pick, Young had an amazing fucking game. 527 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. And then on the opposite, Lamar Jackson, 401 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Dobbins went the fuck off. 20 carries, 162. Mark Andrews had some big plays. Marcus Valdez-Scantling had some big plays. Darius Rush on the defensive side. This was a fun game to watch if you were able to catch in on it or able to tune in on this game yesterday. By the way, guys, just a fucking FYI, and I'm going to make sure to post this in the league. Some of y'all are trying to be slick about not streaming. Don't be shocked when you get that message about losing $5 million in cap. I'm paying attention. Cough, Justin James. I'm paying attention. Don't think because of all these damn streams popping up. I work from home, my guy. I work from home. I can see the chat. The moment that y'all say search, I'm telling you, in that 5-minute time frame, I'm looking for one thing, and that is a post in the stream channel. If your game, or if it's not populating for you, speak on it. We have a streaming rule. Make sure you get your game streamed. So those are all the games that have been played up to this point. The rest of these games should get played tonight. If not, there will be some forced wins handed out. I will be looking at possibly doing an XP week this season. For those that don't know what Max XP week is, basically I just choose a weekend during the season that we all play on Max XP that 1 week. I try to make sure that all of the games, or at least majority of them, are competitive, just so I don't give, Young or Smitty or, a few other guys an opportunity to just beat the entire shit out of someone. I want you to still have some kind of a competitive game when you play people, but we will have that Max XP happen sometime this week. I will add the MeBot back. There are some people that have been trying to play the MeBot on the side. They do not realize that I'm about to reduce some points because when I turned it off for a reason. So the math will be done on that. There is a screenshot that I have, so do not be upset when you see some losses on your dailies. But we are going to go over to week 3. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back. One of the things about trying to do a pick'ems is one thing I realized is that I haven't wrote these down at all. So if anybody in the league would be open to either DMing me that's watching the show, the people that I choose this week so I can get it posted. I'm not a very good multitasker. I'm multitasking right now as I'm doing the show. I'm literally reading an email as I'm speaking. So if anybody watching the show would not mind just either DMing me the choices that I have made as far as the pick'ems. We will not bring back the pick'ems aspect of the league. That may be something we do in the summer league, maybe not. I'm really not sure. Guys, there's already been enough given out. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to give out too much of anything at this point. But starting off in week 3, week 3. It's funny because I see these new posts about LeBron talking about his picks of the week and how he thinks everybody's going to do and yada yada yada. And I find it all just interesting. But starting in week 3, we have Josh and Smitty. I mean, Smitty's going to win this game. One of the things that I feel sorry or just kind of feel unfortunate about for users at times is that the funny thing is Josh can actually beat Smitty. I just think that Smitty is in Josh's head for real. Josh is not a bad player. For whatever reason, Josh has just not been. Josh hasn't figured out how to get back to the old style that he played because he hasn't had any success against Smitty. I mean, like any success against Smitty. So I'm giving Smitty this one, and I'm going to say that Smitty wins by 14 or more. Vikings and Lumberjacks. I'm just going to tell y'all. I am really past the relocation and the fucking team changes. I can't lie to you. I really enjoyed this at first. I know I've changed my team name. I know other people that have done it, but man, I am past the Brooklyn Lumberjacks. Like I don't know why, but every time I see that name, it just bothers me because who the fuck from Brooklyn is going to be a lumberjack? Like there's just something about that. Just for that alone, I'm giving Earl this game. Earl's going to win this one by 7. It should be a close game just because of Earl's style. Broncos and Condors. Massive game for Ivan. He can absolutely not start the season 0-3. I really believe in the division he is in. An 0-3 start for Ivan is going to be the end of his season. In the past, I've seen Ivan start 0-3 and then end the season 11-5, which, the amount of games at the time. 11-5 or 10-6. This ain't the same division, big dog. It's nowhere close to that. He absolutely needs to win this game. He absolutely needs to pull this out. I think from a confidence booster. I've been thinking about putting up a vote with everybody in the league play, asking how everyone feels about the whole momentum piece that we have in league play itself. But Ivan's got to win this game. It's funny because the music in the background, I didn't even choose this. Like it just kind of popped up. So there may be a lot more emotion being added to this. But let me tell y'all something. Ivan has got to win this fucking game. So here's the thing, though. I don't think it's going to happen. I actually think that there is a potential L again coming for Ivan, and he's going to start 0-3, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be really bad. Shamrocks and Eagles. The World Series is over, Colton. I get it. Our Rangers won. Hey, they fucking won, but it's over. It's done. It is over and it is done. It is over. It is done. What is Colton going to be for the rest of the season? Period. Now, I know he's going to beat Harris. I don't know what the score is going to be. I suspect that he's going to win by 14 or more. Because the only reason I say that is because Colton's a defensive user. That's just how he plays. He wants to be a problem defensively, force you to make turnovers, and he's going to be very simple and conservative going down the field on the offensive side. He should win this by 14 or more. This shouldn't be a game that ends up being close at all. Even though Hendricks just had a big game, I'm not ready to crown him as, Hendricks is back like that. I mean, Hendricks fucked up in the first place by coming to San Diego with me. He could have been careful about stepping in my city. So with that, I expect the homie Colton to go ahead and bust Hendricks' ass. Shouldn't be a problem. Panthers and Dreadnoughts. Obviously, Honcho has a big game this week. I think they're going to get played tonight between himself and Slick. He plays Brad, and again, two users that I think need to stay consistent all season. The difference between wins and losses to me when it comes to Madden is just consistency. Just can you be consistent on the offensive side of the ball? If you can get, average 75 yards a game rushing, can you do that? Or can you average 220 passing in a game? Can you keep a passer rating or a completion percentage above 62%? Hell, on this Madden, I'm probably going to say 58% is probably the number. Both of these users for me, both can play, both can be definitely playoff users, absolutely. The thing is I don't know who's going to be the most consistent each week. That's really what it comes down to is consistency. I think the reason Brad lost that game against Fuzz was because he got goofy at time frames he just simply didn't need to. Just that simple. And I think for Honcho this week, it's just going to be simply for the fact that he's playing Dallas and he does not have the defense to play against that Cowboys team. Brad should win this game. This is a game that it's going to be close. It's going to be hard fought. Honcho is not a pushover. The kid is not a pushover at all when it comes to Madden. He's actually kind of decent at this game, if I'm going to be for real. I'm going to give Brad this one by 3. I think by 3 is a realistic and fair position because I still think he's trying to figure out the Bryce Young situation on the offensive side of the ball. He needs to send me DJ Chark and a few other guys that I've kind of asked for, but it's cool. It's cool. I understand. Aviators and Dolphins. I'm not really sure what Jacob's doing with the Dolphins. I'm not sure if it's just a bunch of deep balls being thrown and it's just not happening. Maybe there's too much support for using Tua. I'm a firm believer that not everybody can use Tua. I do have the rule that if you want to change your quarterback's throwing from left to right, as far as how the game has it, you can do that. But I think Tua is holding him back if that's still his quarterback. Matter of fact, let me just check that real quick. I'm not sure if he still has Tua or if he has a rookie to start this season. Yep. So he still got Tua at the quarterback position. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. But he's playing Gideon, and I think Gideon is getting a little tired of the noise. Or at least that's what I hope. This kind of came up in a conversation that Gideon is a very confident user in his game, but we have not seen the results of that confidence. So far this season, it looks like he's playing to shut a bunch of people up. I think he does have skill. Oh, that just reminded me. I forgot to post the tiers from last season. Shit. Fuck, I just forgot that. That's a random thought I just had mid-show. My bad. But I think he's playing like that dude that's trying to get back to that point of like, okay, everybody's talking a little too much. Let me show y'all what I can do with these Houston Aviators. That's actually one of the names that's probably most fitting for the city of Houston, to be honest. I think if Jacob will just have a balanced game, he can play against most people with those Dolphins. Just be balanced on offense. Just balance. Just a balanced game offensively. I think he can be productive. Because I don't expect the balance, I'm going to give Gideon this game by 14. I don't expect it to be close, actually, because I don't expect Jacob to be balanced. And I think if he plays balanced, the window's there. Jags and Knights. We have Legend and Lolo. And, man, I think this division has some of my favorite. They're not really rivalries, but I just think they all compete against each other so well. The funny thing is, as great as Lolo looked in his last game, that is about to change this week. Legend's not going to start 0-3. He's just not. I don't see him starting 0-3. Even with his quarterback situation. 0-3 is just not happening. I get that he's fucking with Anthony Richardson or whatever quarterback's name is for the Colts. I get that he's fucking with Buddy like that, but I can't see an 0-3 start. And I can't see Lolo just doing anything too significant against Legend. He's definitely not going to have the same game he had with Trevor Lawrence last week, this week. That's not going to present itself at all. I could almost bet an attribute on that. That's how confident I feel in the results of what's going to happen in this one. Whoever wins this one was going to be by a field goal, and I can't see Legend starting this season 0-3. He fell back 2 spots last season to get higher in the draft or to get a better position in the draft, and he got the pieces he needed out of the draft. 0-3 is just not going to be a successful position for him to start this season. But I do think 0-3 will guarantee what the rest of his season looks like. I'm gonna give Legend the game by 3. Packers and Commanders, and if it isn't Danny with Washington, he came in a little late, which I probably should have just put him on the team in the first place, as many motherfuckers got on that team and just fell off. Luckily, nobody made no dumbass trades or anything, so he got to still deal with the team kind of in full form, so that's always going to be a plus. And he's got to play J-Stack, who's currently 2-0, and I think he's going to be 3-0 after this game. Danny's, I think offensively, I'm not really sure I haven't figured him out yet. I haven't figured out his offensive scheme just yet. He kind of reminds me of, I would say he's a better version of Frizzle, where, they're not really attacking you deep unless it's pause, unless it's wide open. Very conservative style of gameplay on the offensive side, and then tries to play defense. I think if he opens up that scheme a little bit, he'd be way much more of a problem. It doesn't help to be in that NFC East, I'll tell you that. J-Stack's 2-0. He's not going to have the same production he had last week. I just don't see the numbers going to be able to completely go back-to-back weeks and have that level of consistency back-to-back weeks. But I give him this game. He's going to start 3-0. And that's a hell of a start for J-Stack, in my opinion. Chiefs and Chargers. Jay Rose won't admit it. I'm going to turn it down for this. Jay Rose won't admit it. But he wants to beat Young. He can say a lot of bullshit in the chat. He can tell everybody else he don't care. He can tell everybody else this shit don't matter to him like that. He can tell everybody else that, busy, family outings, I had to take care of the son. I'm putting up curtains on the wall. I've been busy all day. I had to mow the yard. He wants to be Young. Every game that they have played, it has come down to basically an interception, a field goal, or a end of game touchdown. On this Madden. He wants to be Young. Just that simple. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think Young continues the route of close games against Jay Rose, because Jay Rose this year, from what I have seen, has been terrible in the red zone. Last season, when I looked at the stats, it's funny. It's actually funny because I wrote this down and then I was like, maybe I should just put that in notes and maybe use it later. Funny thing is, I ended up using it on this show. So I'm gonna throw out a fucked up stat that Jay Rose probably hasn't noticed for himself. In red zone percentage last season, and I made sure before I just took the games he didn't play. I tried to remove all those out when I got all the percentages down. He would have ended, if he played the same way all season, he'd have the 28th best percentage in the red zone. that number is not going to win against a guy like Young. You've got to be able to score. Whether it's running the football, whether it's short routes, just taking 2 or 3 yards here or there, you got to score in the red zone, period. And a guy like Young, which he's probably one of the better defenders in the red zone. I actually think Young is a better red zone defender than he is between the 20s. I think between the 20s, Young is terrible. I think in the red zone is where he's pretty solid. That's why the numbers between him and Smitty are so surprising to me, is because I expected Smitty, even when they played in the playoffs, I expected in between the 20s for Smitty to be able to do whatever the hell he pretty much wanted. I expected the red zone for him to be shut down, and he had success. I'm not putting Jay Rose in the same position as Smitty because of his red zone percentage that I saw from last year. I'm not sure if that number has continued. It almost makes me want to go look it up right now since I'm just talking about it. I'm just pretty curious. Where the hell does Jay Rose sit up to this point? Because this is a guy, for me, that I have placed on, some would say a hierarchy. Look at that. Well, he's one offensive touchdown, one attempt. That's actually a wild fucking number, Jay Rose. Only one red zone. You've been in the red zone one time? What's going on? Who is this dude? I got kids. Don't tell me kids change. Don't put that on my nephew. Don't say that family life has changed you that much. That's bullshit. We're gonna see what happens with Jay Rose as this goes on, but I don't think he's going to get over the hump when it comes to Young because of what I saw in the red zone last year. And it wasn't that it was bad play. It was that Jay Rose is a touchdown user. He's not let me kick this field goal, accept the situation, and move on. Let me just take this 5 yards and just take this 5 yards and continue. That's not how Jay Rose plays. So, we're going to see how this plays out. But I know Young, from what I've seen, he doesn't lose back-to-back games. That dude just don't do that. Hell, he barely loses to begin with. But he's damn sure not going to lose back-to-back games. So I am actually going to give Young this one because of that reason. Saints and Falcons, a replay of the NFC Championship. Last week we saw a replay, or this current week we saw a replay of the AFC Championship. The winner of the AFC Championship went ahead and won again in week 2. Will the winner of the NFC Championship win again in week 3? Obviously prayers for Rome. He does have some personal stuff going right now. So, for real, throw some thoughts up to the old man and just the fam. So he's going to take an L this week. But I know he wants to play Hyundai, and I'm pretty sure Hyundai feels the same. I wasn't shocked at the result of the season that Hyundai had. I was impressed by the season that Rome had. Hyundai's always been good. He may not, it's funny. There are guys in league play that have always been playoffs, division round opponents for quite a while. Maybe make a conference championship every now and then, but they get out of the wild card. They get out of the wild card. That's what I'd seen from Hyundai from the most part until this year. Man's got 2 Super Bowls, 2 different leagues in a span of 7 days. Hell, maybe shorter than that, maybe 3 or 4 days. And he's got Rome. Rome had a stat that I'm not sure will ever be broken. The numbers that Rome put up on the defensive side of the game last season against the pass, I am not sure anyone will ever do better than that again this Madden. Like, I give props to the old man for that. I think it was 2,223 yards passing allowed. That is fucking nuts. That is nuts, my guy. And Hyundai doing the one thing that I feel like other users lack at, and that is just being consistent. Just simple consistency down the field every game, playing a balanced offense, using the running back that he has, taking the passes that are necessary, not forcing the football until he plays bloodshed for some reason, but mostly consistent. Rome needs this game because I think if they play later on in the season, he's not going to get this game. There are certain division opponents that you play, in my opinion, if you don't beat them now, you're definitely not going to beat them later. It's kind of like the game between Top and Austin. I think it was important that Top won that game because I do think later on, as you know, Austin is a builder. That's how he plays the game. He is building towards a scheme and a style that benefits him. And that's only going to get better over season play. It's just going to happen. Definitely important for Top to get that one. This is a game that Rome needs to win, and I don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to give Hyundai this game by 14. The next game, Caps and Cards. God, I didn't even realize I played Nick. Oh, God damn. I don't even want to talk about this. I don't even want to. Why do I gotta fucking play Nick? Why do I have to play Nicholas Adams? I don't even know what to say. I mean, I don't want to play Nick. He was already mad that he got a forced loss last season that supposedly knocked him out of the playoffs, even though he was 5 games behind. But, you know, he's just one of those users. He's a user that I can beat, but I can absolutely get mauled by just because of his style. Just because of his style. I'm taking the game by 3. Huskies and Rams. Kevin Freeman should pull this one out against Bloodshed. Should get this one by 2 or more scores. Nike and Top is going to be a bloodbath or it's going to be a blowout. It's just that simple. There's really no other story to it. It's either going to be a bloodbath of a game or it's going to be a blowout. Because at the end of the day, for me, when it comes to Nike's gameplay and the team that he's built, again, how long does he stay connected in the game despite the score? If Top gets up 14, is he still playing? Is he still playing to win? Or is he just chasing stats at this point? If it's a tie ball game, what decisions are he thinking about within that game? Is man defense on his mind? You know, are we blitzing the quarterback any? This game comes down to Nike more so than it does Top. Top's going to play the same way every single week. Does not matter. I think Nike has built the team, and now he's just trying to figure out how to play with them. He figured it out against DTZ. Top's going to be a very different opponent. Going to be a very different opponent. Now, the good thing is they both have played each other, probably more times than anybody in the league has played each other. I'm going to give Top this game by a field goal. As long as Nike stays patient, runs the ball, you can beat him. He could absolutely be on a 2-1 start, and that's a damn good start in that division. Top can't take this loss. He needs to win every game. Pretty much, he needs to match Austin, in my opinion. He's going to have to match Austin, not Earl. Maybe J-Stack, I don't know. But he's got to match Austin. He's going to have to match Austin this season. Same division. Most likely, the majority of the schedule is the same. He's going to have to match Buddy. Period. I'm giving top this one by 3. The 49ers and Giants, a game that I feel like Justin James should come out and be absolutely fucking nuts when he plays Fuzz, and it's just not going to happen because of the style that Fuzz plays. Fuzz is just Fuzz, bro. I don't get it. I don't get how Fuzz has the success he does with the style that he plays. And the most frustrating thing about Fuzz is that everybody knows what he's about to do. There's not a user in the league that you know what they are going to do and still can't stop it. Or you do stop it, and then here comes a pass over the top of your head. I mean, like, he literally, his offense, he is telling you what he's doing. And yet goes 15-2. It's like the lady on the plane. I'm here to tell you, like, I'm giving it to Fuzz. And this funny thing is, I could actually see Fuzz blowing Justin James out. No pause needed. I just trust his game style versus Justin James. Bengals and Bills. Ben and DTZ have an old rivalry. Never personal, but just a rivalry. There was a back and forth between them. Mostly wins by Ben. I'm going to give Ben this one by 14. There's not a big story here because for me it comes down to, you know, when is Ben going to finally sit down and get back to playing the game, versus being over there trying to figure out dishes and all this other stuff when it comes to getting a new house in order. If he's sitting down ready to go, he's going to beat DTZ. If he's not, he's going to take a L. There is no other story. DTZ comes down. It just comes down to, is he, 1, willing to run? 2, can he take the drag outside of that same damn crosser going across the middle? Can we run something else outside of a trip set? It's really that simple. Ben should win this game. And the last game, definitely not the least, Slick versus Austin. And this is a big week, I think, really for Austin because of the game that Top has up to this point against Nike, which I would say the Top is favored in this game against Nike, even though, again, I think if Nike just has a consistent, conservative, patient game with the team that he's built, he can beat Top. It's the same thing for Austin against Slick. I just want Austin to play every game like he's in a Super Bowl. Because when he plays like he's in a Super Bowl, buddy, he's damn near unbeatable. It's funny because not a lot of people like hearing Austin is up there in the GOAT conversation. Not a lot of people appreciate that. Yet he's up there. It's regular season, so I expect Slick to win this game. Playoffs, I may give a different different result. Definitely a different statement for sure. Slick takes this one, and I can see it being by 15 or more. Well, guys, that's going to be the breakdown as far as the weeks. The week 4 show, I will make sure I try to get myself, Ivan. I would like to get Colton on, and J-Stack, a few other users, just to talk about how Madden play. Get everyone's perspective on how everyone feels about the game to this point. I am considering posting a poll about should we stay on no momentum at all. Momentum, yay or nah. Just that simple. Man, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Man, be safe out in these streets. Look both ways when crossing these hands, because I don't want you to get knocked the fuck out these next few weeks, especially if I see you. Man, hope y'all enjoy the rest of your day, man. I'm out. Peace. This is random, but y'all's pass completion percentages are wild. Like, teach me. Teach me how to get back to this life. I'm over here talking shit about quarterback play, and I'm at 63%. This shit is ass. Damn.